Hey everybody, welcome to Drive Through number 129. Today I'm going to talk about the third and final game in the Sid Sackson Signature Series from Griffin. I just came out on Kickstarter, which I backed. So this is Venture, and this is sort of a, call it Acquire the Card game. That's not doing any service. It is a business game where you build corporations and conglomerates and then steal those from other players and try to build a big profit. So let's just show you how it works. Go from there. So in Venture, we've got two decks of cards. Players will be dealt cards out of this deck here, and most of these will be money amounts. So you've got 5 million, 1 million, 14 million. The other thing to keep in mind here are these symbols here. And so if you can see here, you've got 2 of these will be 16 million, 3 of these is 32, and 4 of these is 64. And what that means is if you can match the symbol, so let's find another triangle, here we go. We've got 2 triangles, which by themselves would just be 6 million, 5 plus 1. However, since they share the symbol, and we've got 2 of them, then it's going to be worth 16 for the pair. If I had a third one in here, let's see, find the third one, then it would be 32 for the triple. And then if I have 4 of them magically, I get 64. So as you kind of draw cards out of here, you kind of want to try to collect these. Now if you notice, the smaller amounts have these symbols, whereas these larger amounts don't have symbols. You won't be able to pair them with anything. The other types of cards in here are the profit cards, which are scoring cards. I'll talk about those a little bit later. And then proxy fights. So mostly in the game, you're going to be buying cards out of this sort of display here. And you're going to have 5 cards out on your turn. And these are different corporations and things that you can buy. Now here I've got 5 of the different corporations, and there's 6 different types. And you can tell by the color as well as the little symbol there. So all the steel here are orange, etc. And so I'm going to be buying mostly, to start the game at least, cards from the middle here. And you're just going to pay whatever the face amount is, and you don't get any change. You can buy as many as you want. But let's say I bought these 3 here. I had a ton of money. I bought all 3 of these. This isn't going to refill until the end of my turn. So you only can buy what's available to you. And if you don't get any change, so if you overspend, then that's it. You just discard those cards here, and then you'll draw 2 cards at the end of your turn. Now what you're going to be keeping in mind with these is you want to build what's called conglomerates, because each of these individually is a corporation. But to build a conglomerate, they need to share letters here. Now if you look here, the more expensive ones have more letters on them. So you got 4 letters here on the 20 millions. The 16 million has only got 3 letters. And then here's an 8 million, he's only got 1 letter. And these are going to help you and determine how you can build a conglomerate here. So let's take a look at here. So let's say I bought the red one, and then I come along later or on the same turn, and I build the orange one. Now they have to share at least 1 letter in common. So you can see this shares the B's and the F's. Then I can come along later and add another corporation. So here, you can see this one actually shares a B. Doesn't share an F though, okay? But now I'm locked into the B's. The only thing I can play here is a B. So if I have this one here, yeah, it shares an F with these 2, but it doesn't share a B with this one. So they've all got to share at least 1 letter between them all. So that wouldn't be legal to play. So I'd have to start a new conglomerate with this one here. So let's say I've got another one here. So there's 4 B's, so now I'm getting a big conglomerate. Now the largest you can have obviously is 6 because of the 6 different colors. You can never have the same color corporation. I couldn't have 2 real estate corporations in my conglomerate. So I've got to have 1 of each color there. That's the most I can have. So the reason that you want to build big conglomerates here is when these profits cards are drawn. Now there's 2 of these in the deck, and these are shuffled in again with the money cards as players draw. So when a player goes to draw at the end of the turn, if they draw a profit, we're going to freeze, and then we're going to score basically points for that player. So any conglomerations, with 3 corporations will give you 1 million, or basically 1 point. But if you had 6, you're going to get 20 points. So you can see it scales up pretty quickly there. So you want to get these really high ones and score a lot of points. So you're going to go through this money deck quite a few times, and then every time a profit comes up, you're going to score and score and score. You could play the game until all of these are bought. And remember, you can buy multiple on a turn. So this is actually going to go through relatively quickly. Once that last one's bought, that last player can do any buying or anything that they want to do, and then we're going to have another profit scoring. Okay, that's very basically the game. Now there's two other key aspects to this game. The first aspect are these takeover cards, so a proxy fight. Now there's a few different ones. Here's a 1 times proxy fight, here's a 1.5 times, and then there's a half times in here somewhere. Here we go, half time. So what you can do on your turn is you can play with the money that you're spending a proxy fight card. So not only can you buy cards from the middle here, you can buy cards off the top of other people's stacks. So for each proxy fight card I spend, I can buy a card from somebody else. So if I play this half proxy fight, I could actually buy this card for half of its face value. I could get it for 8 million. Or if I played a 1 times, I could buy this one for 16. Or I could buy this one for 20. You can buy the top card of anybody's stacks. And then there's the 1.5 times, which you'd have to end up paying like 30 million for that one. So that's the proxy fight. So there's a couple, I almost hesitate to discuss some of the little strategies with this and how you position and how and when you buy some of these corporations. So I'm just not going to. There are some cool little strategies you can do as far as which ones you put on top, which leads me to the next aspect of the game, and that's reorganization. So anytime on your turn, you can pay to reorganize all of your corporations. Now, you have to always pay 1 million for each card that you've bought, no matter how many you want to reorganize. So I got to pay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at this point. I got to pay 5 million. Even if all I wanted to do would be like to swap these out or something like that. Even if I only wanted to mix a couple around, you still have to pay 1 million for everything that you own. And finally, what you can do is if you don't want to do anything or can't do anything, you run out of money, you can discard a card and then draw 2 cards, because you always draw 2 cards at the end of your turn. So again, you just keep playing until all of these are bought up. You're going to go through the money deck several times. You're going to have multiple scorings, and that's the game. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the overview. Like I spoiled in the previous video, this is probably my favorite of the 3 games. The game can be a little bit luck driven, the way that those profit cards come up. So you could have like a nice sized conglomerate with 6 corporations and then get a profit and then get another profit before anybody else can really have any effect. So you can get 20 points back to back real quick. But if that happens, then the profit cards usually won't come up for a while because they'll be sitting in a discard pile, so it gives them a chance to kind of catch up. So there is some luck in the game, but it's pretty quick, 30-minute game once everybody gets the hang of it. You can turn it off now if you don't want to hear any strategies type of things, but you can keep in mind what people are going for, what letters they need, what colors they need in their stacks, because remember you can only have 1 of each color. So you may think that putting the most expensive ones on the top of your stack is a good idea because people will be able to pay for them, or they'll have to pay more for them. But if you put something on there that it's like, a red D or something, and everybody else has reds or nobody has room for Ds in their big conglomerates, then you can sneak and get those on top. And so then you can use the reorganization to kind of shuffle stuff around, kind of mix things up so people can't get them. And you really just have to keep an eye on everything that's going on the board around from everybody else. So there's some cool little kind of tactical strategies that you can do. So like I said, this is my favorite one. I think most everybody else I played it with. Most people I played all 3 of these with. And some people, well, one dude likes Sleuth more, but I think this is my favorite one and most people's favorite one. And it's quick and it's kind of cutthroat and nasty business stuff. So yeah, so anyway, check them out. Thanks.